fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. I am him. The man. You're a classless loser.
I broke Jake's jaw.
His teeth look a bit removed as well.
Yeah, his teeth have come out of place. But credit to him, he done well. But I told him what was going to happen.
I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit.
The boxing world erupted over the intense showdown between JakePaul and Anthony Joshua. Reactions were explosive. Part awe, part disbelief, all heat. There were clearly two camps leading up to the fight. On one side, the cautious majority trusted Joshua's size, pedigree, and knockout record. On the other, a smaller but louder group argued Paul was more than just a YouTuber with a punch. He was a real threat, the kind of fighter who could land a single, game-changing shot. Most veterans and betting markets leaned toward Joshua. Yet a few high-profile boxers and contrarian voices placed their bets on chaos. Former world champions issuing warnings, podcast hosts sounding genuinely nervous for the underdog, and influencers making audacious predictions. This odd mix gave the pre-fight chatter the tension of an actual fight rather than a standard press release. Teddy Atlas, the seasoned trainer and longtime moral compass of boxing, dissected the matchup in his trademark blunt style. He didn't paint Paul as a fantasy contender. Instead, he highlighted the very real ways Paul's unorthodox style could trouble a heavyweight accustomed to traditional patterns. Atlas has always focused less on picking winners and more on mapping danger in the ring. His takeaway: this fight was far more complex than the betting boards suggested.
He's as serious as he thinks he is, and he wants to put down his Twitter fingers and put on some gloves and come and fight one of the realest fighters out there that will take on any challenge. Step in the ring with me next if you're a real bad boy. Don't do all that talking, AJ this, AJ that.
Joe Rogan, whose podcast is one of the biggest platforms for combat sports, sounded almost paternal as he weighed in. He called the matchup one of the craziest he'd ever seen and repeatedly warned that Joshua possesses one-punch knockout power capable of ending a man's night. Or even his career. Rogan's commentary balanced admiration for Paul's hustle with genuine concern for the unforgiving nature of the heavyweight division. He wasn't heroically backing Paul. He was issuing a cautionary bulletin. His point was simple: the numbers might favor Joshua, but in boxing, a single punch can make all the math irrelevant. A literal nuclear-level threat in the ring.
It's been signed yet, but Tyson, he's indicated that if it's the right deal, he'll definitely do it. So I think it's going in the right, as I just said, going in the right direction, and hopefully we'll get some news pretty soon as to what's going to happen. He's been very good. He's been working very hard the last few months. He's had a lot of projects, including his Netflix series, Meet the Furies, the second series of that. He's got a documentary he's also filming. He's doing a lot of PAs as well, so he's been very, very busy. He's enjoying himself, but he's been in the ring full time. In the gym full time, training very hard, and he's in great nick. He looks well, and I'm sure. And he said on many times himself he would like to come back and fight again. And 2026, I believe, provided the deal's right, I think you'll see him back in the ring again. If this fight happens, which I believe it will, if it does happen, it will be sometime in late summer. So Tyson, that's another sort of what's at the moment, it's another 7 months away. So he'll certainly have a fight in between, I think, if he comes back. The fans have been asking for this, and everybody's been talking about it for years and years and years. It's better, if it's going to happen now, than rather these guys come back and talk about doing it in 5 or 6 years' time. It's a fight that, anybody who I talk to about boxing, that's the one thing they always mention. When are these two getting it on? Are they ever going to get it on? We never got to see it, etc., etc. It will happen. I think it will happen, and I think when
Tyson Fury, known for his flair for the performative and provocative, surprisingly aligned with the contrarians. Fury publicly suggested he'd back Paul to land the kind of punch that could change everything, even casually entertaining the idea of an upset. That's striking because Fury is one of heavyweight boxing's loudest voices and rarely praises outsiders without reason. When he talked up Paul's chances, it shifted the narrative, not because Fury's opinion alters the numbers, but because he is a living, breathing measure of heavyweight credibility. Essentially, he was saying, don't sleep on the underdog. Meanwhile, Alexander Usyk kept his comments measured but not dismissive. When legends of the division speak, people listen, and Usyk's tone reminded everyone of the cold arithmetic of skill and experience at the elite level. He didn't make a bold contrarian pick. He offered a sober endorsement that Joshua remains a serious test in the heavyweight division. Crossing weight classes or reputations is never simple, and Usyk's steady voice added credibility to the AJ-favored side. Amir Khan, with his usual dramatic streak, framed the stakes politically. For Khan, this fight was a referendum on influencer boxing. He argued that Anthony Joshua could decisively stop the movement that produced Paul with a brutal knockout. His pick was emphatic: AJ by stoppage. For Khan, this wasn't just about money or spectacle, it was about preserving the line between traditional.
I'm not gonna disrespect Fury, Gareth.
I want to fight him though, Jake. We want to see you fight him so much.
Exactly. I think I deserve it, the fans deserve it, you deserve it. It's such a shame that the guy decided to retire. He should grow a backbone. You win some, you lose some.
Do you beat him?
Yeah, definitely.
All day long, yeah?
100%. So do you know what day it is today?
Saturday morning.
What comes after Saturday?
Sunday.
Heavyweight pedigree and the social media era's shortcuts. Dana White, whose eyes track every fight that moves the needle, was blunt. "That's a bad idea," he said publicly. White's assessment combined a promoter's pragmatism with a ringside warning. He expected Joshua's size and experience to overwhelm Paul, his words carrying the weight of someone who has seen fighters step into mismatches, sometimes at great cost. He wasn't romanticizing the matchup. He was pragmatic, even a little cynical about the narrative risk for a crossover fighter entering true heavyweight danger. David Haye provided one of the more intriguing perspectives, bucking the conservative tide. Haye suggested an upset was possible, even historic. His assessment carried weight because he, too, is a former heavyweight champion who understands the stakes. Highlighting Paul's restraint in earlier fights and the unpredictability hidden within a newer fighter, Haye positioned himself with the hope-laden contrarians. Paul's path might not be orthodox, but it isn't impossible, and Haye's voice added genuine tactical curiosity to the underdog argument. Michael Bisping, who wears skepticism like a badge from his UFC days, expressed concern about Paul walking away physically or mentally broken. His wasn't a prediction about the winner, but a reminder of the real human cost. Bisping's caution framed the fight as more than a spectacle. Careers and health were on the line, underscoring the stakes of nights like this.
A bad look overall for the sweet science, the sport of boxing, which, cannot get out of its way anyway on a regular basis. What we saw in there, I don't think anyone ultimately looks good. It was theater. It was sloppy. It was gross. It was unnecessary. I'd love to say my favorite sport is better than this, but I think we know that already. I think the bigger question is how much more can the rest of us tolerate the Jake Paul circus?
What was so deflating about this is even though we, in a sense, got the outcome that most people tuning into this fight were here for, which was to see Jake Paul get knocked out, it was the worst version of a Jake Paul knockout loss that we could have asked for. There isn't some sort of highlight reel moments like the Ngannou knockout.
Heavyweight pedigree and the social media era's shortcuts. Dana White, whose eyes track every fight that moves the needle, was blunt. "That's a bad idea," he said publicly. White's assessment combined a promoter's pragmatism with a ringside warning. He expected Joshua's size and experience to overwhelm Paul, his words carrying the weight of someone who has seen fighters step into mismatches, sometimes at great cost. He wasn't romanticizing the matchup. He was pragmatic, even a little cynical about the narrative risk for a crossover fighter entering true heavyweight danger. David Haye provided one of the more intriguing perspectives, bucking the conservative tide. Haye suggested an upset was possible, even historic. His assessment carried weight because he, too, is a former heavyweight champion who understands the stakes. Highlighting Paul's restraint in earlier fights and the unpredictability hidden within a newer fighter, Haye positioned himself with the hope-laden contrarians. Paul's path might not be orthodox, but it isn't impossible, and Haye's voice added genuine tactical curiosity to the underdog argument. Michael Bisping, who wears skepticism like a badge from his UFC days, expressed concern about Paul walking away physically or mentally broken. His wasn't a prediction about the winner, but a reminder of the real human cost. Bisping's caution framed the fight as more than a spectacle. Careers and health were on the line, underscoring the stakes of nights like this.
His teeth look a bit removed as well.
Yeah, his teeth have come out of place. But credit to him, he done well. But I told him what was going to happen, but it just took 6 rounds to do that.
People will criticise you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Why? Come on.
Because, like, we're elite fighters. Like, so I put myself in the shoes of a coach. If I was coaching Anthony Joshua and he went 6 rounds with Jake Paul, I would get him back in the gym tomorrow, give him a bit of a beating, and we're getting straight back to work, because I'll be like, how are you letting this kid take you 6 rounds? Are you crazy? In boxing, there's a time when you systematically break someone down and you see their soul leaving their body. And after a period of time, 2 things start to happen to them. Either they give up or they get knocked out. And there was a bit of a mix. I said to myself, I'm not going to knock you out. I am going to systematically punish you round after round. And like, I wanted it to be slow and methodical. I swear, I'll drop down now. And I just kept on hitting him. Sorry, go.
Right, you hit me as much
I
as you like.
hate you for everyone in England. I was hitting him. I kept on hitting him. And I could see I had that mentality where I was like, do you remember in the press conference I said, he's Iverson and I'm Jordan? And I was like, I'm going to just keep breaking him down. Because he was a loser.